Today's video, we're going to be planting carrots, potatoes, and onions. Everyone uses them. I think everybody should grow them, especially if they have a little space in their garden. But first, I'm going to show you guys that we cut a couple branches down last week just because it was blocking some sun from our garden. And then after you guys see that, we'll get planting. On the shoulder? Okay, keep going. Okay. Where are we going now? Get over ahead. Let it go, let it go. Red.
The small one, you're saying drop it on their side? You don't think we can muscle that one over when we cut it down?
Where?
Yeah!
Let's have an extension on here.
Don't jerk it, you cannot that.
Yeah, don't, just keep tension.
What's gonna come your way? There you go. There you go.
Yeah, son! Now, I don't know if this is going to work or not, but the whole point of this is to find a way to heat up the soil. Now, right now it's not sunny, but I think when the sun's out, it's going to warm the soil up, and then I'll be able to plant my carrots easily because they take forever to germinate. So I'm just placing some rocks down because I heard that if you let any air in, then it's not going to heat up your soil, it's just going to cool it. So you got to make sure there's no air in the tarp. Once you do that, I'm going to wait maybe a couple days, wait till the sun comes out, and I'll start planting. The first thing you need to know about potatoes is that they need well-draining soil. You could cut them in half. They don't even need to be chitting. You just throw them in the garden somewhere and eventually they'll just grow. So they're very, very easy to grow vegetables. That's why I like them. Like me, I have chickens, so I got some chicken manure and some compost. I've been composting for like 2 years now. So I laid that in the beds, I added like a bag of cow manure, but I didn't fill up the mulch fully. I just added a little bit for now. And what I'm going to do is how I plant them is I don't hill them up like most people do. I'll just do a little row like every other vegetable. So I think you could fit like almost 20 potatoes in here. I got some yellow potatoes. I got Yukon Golds. I'll show you how I do that pretty easily. So I'm just going to make some rows about 4 inches deep. Just with my pick, maybe 10 inches apart, not too far apart. I don't really think you have to go that deep or that far apart. Maybe 4 rows might work. Now, I don't think there's anything bad with planting different varieties of potatoes together. If there is, let me know. But I'm going to be planting these Yukon Golds. You could chop these up if you want. And I'm going to be placing them
just pressing them down in the soil with the eyes facing up, about 8 inches apart. Just plop them in there. Press them in nice. All right. Their eyes facing up. You can see how evenly spaced these are. It's all ready to be grown, ready for their final resting place. They're all going to do great. I mean, it's pretty cold here still too, but it's not going to affect these potatoes. They're very, very hardy and very good against cold weather. And the last step, well, second last step, just cover them back up. Very easy. The big ones are a little harder. Just cover them up. And then I'm going to put a little bit more mulch at top and then just water them down a bit. I shouldn't have to touch them because it's not raining season here in Ontario, so it should be fine. So I'm just adding cedar mulch, and I don't know if there's a difference or not. You're gonna have to look that up, but hasn't done anything wrong to my potatoes before. So I'll just add a thin layer earlier before planting so it gets into the soil and helps loosen it up and helps aerate it. And then I'll add a thin layer on top after planting just to keep it moist. Protect it from anything digging it up too. It helps, covers the smell, especially for my dog. And then once these tubers start growing their leaves and it goes maybe about 3-4 inches above the soil, so maybe at the top of these wood here, once it grows past that, I'll add even more mulch, and then I'll start to hill them as they get higher and higher. And then maybe about a month and a half in, I'll put maybe one more bag of manure or compost, and then I'll just leave it and make sure they're well watered and everything. And you'll get, this should like yield about, I'm gonna say 100 potatoes, probably about 100, I think. And I'll definitely be doing a harvest video on all these vegetables, so you guys get to see it, and I'll maybe cook up some fish or do a fish fry with it. So stay tuned for that. Here it is. I'm just gonna rake this up quick time, water it down, and then we'll get to planting the carrots, which I actually hate. Alright, so as I already explained before, this tarp right here was an attempt to warm up the soil. Now, did it? I don't have a thermometer on me, but easy way to check. Stick your finger in it, and then stick your finger in the next one. And if it's warmer than that one, then it worked, and it is. Now you can see the soil is very wet, but the sun just needs to penetrate through the tarp just a little bit, just to help warm it up. And it could actually warm it up about 15 to 20 degrees Fahrenheit in a day. So it's a big difference. You can see how wet that soil is still, and that's going to allow me to let these carrots grow a little faster, because carrots really take forever. That's why I don't like them. Sometimes I'll plant them and they won't even grow till next year, or they'll grow like a month later. So this is a new attempt on growing carrots, and I actually left these carrot seeds in some water and then laid them out, and they actually started germinating a little bit. As you can see, the little white roots sticking out, so maybe that'll help. Now I'm just gonna do like, I think it's 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch rows of maybe like 6 to 8 inches. And now, since these seeds are wet, they're not gonna go in nicely, so there's no point of planting them one by one, like 2 inches apart. So I'm just gonna plant a bunch of seeds. See, they're already falling out. Just gonna plant a bunch of seeds in the rows. Once they start growing, I'll just take some time and half-ass thin them out. That should be fine. But you'd be surprised with carrots after they start growing. Once you're ready to harvest them in about late August, maybe even September, they are just great, and you get a lot from them. So we all eat carrots, so why not? I'm barely gonna dig in. The soil is very loose, as you could tell. It's just some manure, some organic compost, and some 3-in-1 mix that I bought at the store. So I had about a bag of manure per box. I think that's like good enough when you start planting, and then halfway through you could always add more. But this is good enough for planting. I'm just gonna do small little rows, about 6 to 8 inches apart. You can see how loose that soil. Carrots really like loose soil. It's easier for them to grow. No obstructions. And you can see how dark it is. It's great. Time to sow these guys in. I'm just going to give a terrible sprinkle all along all these rows here. It's going to take me forever. Alright, worst part's over. Now, a lot of people will put some loose soil on top of this just so they don't obstruct anything. I don't think you need to do that. I'm not doing that. I think that's a waste of time. So I'm just going to throw some dirt that I put aside just on top, just a little bit. Any big chunks, just crush it on top. Pat it down, because why not? Look at that. I'm going to give it a quick water. Just going to soak them in. I need to keep these seeds very wet and warm. They don't need to be that warm, like tomato seeds or peppers, to germinate, but half of them are already germinated, so it shouldn't be a problem. So I'm going to put this tarp right back on there. And this should, I'll keep you updated on Instagram, but it should help grow this a little faster, because I find myself sometimes checking on them every day thinking they're going to grow and they don't, and sometimes it takes like a month when it should take at least 2 weeks, maybe 3, but I think it's going to help a lot. And that's it for carrots. Alright, now same thing here. Manure, 3-in-1 mix, and some compost. And that's basically it. I had my own compost, so very loose. I just bought these bags of 100. I couldn't even be bothered planting these things. They take a lot of time. You got to plant them really early, and if you want like 200, it takes a long time. These are very cheap, so I'm just going to place these things about an inch deep, maybe an inch or two, probably 2 inches apart. I got 100 red and 100 white, or what are they called? Yeah, white. So we all use onions. Onions are great. We use them for everything. They go great with carrots and potatoes, and they all three of these store the best. But onions are my favorite to grow, and they grow pretty fast. Probably by beginning of August, end of July, they'll be done. So, all right, these are probably the easiest to plant, but still a pain. Make sure you have the tops facing up and the roots bottom. And I just soaked the soil a little bit. And basically, because it's so loose, because I just added some organic material, I'm just going to press these onions in. I'm probably going to do 3 inches apart just to be safe. And then after 2 hours of me doing this, I'll just give it a light water, and it should be fine. Alright, so after you're done pressing 100, 200 balls into the soil for 20 minutes, you can leave them with their tops sticking up, which I used to do, but you could also just pat them down a little bit, because what happens is when you start to water them, they might get pushed up when there's too much water in the beginning. So I just give them a little pat down. Their tops are still sticking up just a little bit. And then when you water them, they shouldn't pop up, even when it's a big rainstorm as well. It should be nice and compact, and they'll be moist. Last step, hose her down. Now, with onions, they like to be kept moist, so you can keep them moist and keep them in full sun. They'll like that the most, and they'll grow great. What happens is if you don't give them enough sun, what's going to happen is they're not going to grow to their fullest. They're going to be very small. And that's what happened to me last year, and that's how I learned. With carrots, you might get a little lucky with a little less sun. Even potatoes, 6 to 8 hours. But these, if you give them full sun, and they like it the most. All right, so you got to see me plant onions, potatoes, and carrots. The reason why I picked these three is these are the hardiest vegetables. They store the best, and everybody uses them. So if you're gonna grow anything and you got limited space, I highly suggest you grow these three. I might be doing some other videos on tomatoes and peppers, but these are my favorite things to grow, and you can fit a lot in a 4x4 box in a raised bed or just in the ground next to your flowers. So I really like these vegetables, and that's why I decided to make this video. Anyways, if you want to keep posted on how these are doing, follow us on Instagram at RockyZone_, and don't forget to subscribe, because I'll probably do a harvest video, and with that harvest video in a few months, I'll probably cook up some fried fish. We got a lot of videos coming soon. Next week we're going bear baiting, so we're going to show you how we do that. Then we'll be bear hunting. We're probably going to do some turkey hunting, and then of course everyone's favorite fishing season starts, and we got a new lure coming in. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that out, and follow us on Instagram. I'll see you guys next time. Hope you enjoyed the video.